Welcome to the podcast.
Ever. Whoa.
That was Greg's turn to say something. Yeah, I mean, that took a while. I don't know if there's some sort of delay, but the podcast ever. Okay. Okay, there we go. Yes, King. Yes, King. Today, guys, we've got some interesting stuff. This is the podcast ever, aka and there's definitely a delay, dude, because you said well like 10 years after I said yes, King. Okay, so I don't know what's going on here, but I hope the screen share doesn't fuck it up more. Look, guys, ever, aka the Pete News Network. We've got a lot of things going on in that sphere too that we're going to talk about today, but also, just the clashing of the more red pill space, or more just masculinity space, the TERFs, the feminists, definitely clashing a lot on Twitter and just in general, men and women. I mean, it's going on and on and on. It's getting more and more like that. So, I mean, obviously we're going to be talking about that tonight as well. But yeah, there are new developments everywhere. So, I mean, even with Kanye, which I didn't really mention in the thumbnail of the title, but there are new developments with Kanye as well, not with his cousin. I mean, I don't know anything about that, but just in general, which we could talk about as well at some point. But how you doing, Mr. Greg?
Pretty good.
Yeah, dude. I don't know if it is the or what, but yeah, it's every time I talk and I wait. Then I like sit there for a minute in silence, dude. It's not a minute, but it's like 5 seconds. Okay.
Well, I did wait a while to respond on purpose.
Okay. So you're just fucking with me. Now you're trying to ruin this on purpose. Now you're really bugging me. You're really digging in me.
Whoa. I'm just trying to think of something to say. That's all.
Okay, fair enough. It looks like it's good. It's fine. We're good. Let me see here. So we're actually not even on StreamYard tonight. We're on Restream. Back on Restream, boys, because this shit's cheap. This shit's dirt cheap compared to StreamYard, where they dig in you for prices, guys. So I mean, this is not a sponsor or anything. This is just me saying that I was not about to have a power StreamYard in the corner and not even be able to stream to Rumble, which I hope we are, because it shows me that, at least looked successful as far as what I was up here. Last time I tried it on Rumble wasn't working out well, but I'm pretty sure this time that, we're good, because I didn't try setting it up on Rumble as well. Usually with StreamYard it up there. Apparently it says sending data to Rumble, so I don't know if it means that it's streaming, or I don't know. Hopefully it's working this time. I mean, it should work. It asked me to do it on here as opposed to the way I was doing it on StreamYard. So that should be good. But we'll just have to wait and see, honestly. But yeah. So Mr. Greg, tell us what's up, man. How's your week been? What have you been up?
Heavily sleep deprived.
That's interesting, because I went from heavily sleep deprived to getting a good night's sleep most nights now. It's actually feeling pretty good.
I actually went to bed pretty early the night that I expected the great happening to happen. And then I woke up at like 2 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep until like 7. So
the great happening.
The great happening.
You care to expand on what you mean by that?
The inevitable shift and clash of sleep formats.
Okay. Well, anyway, I mean, I hope that hasn't been too hard on you, because we need your neurons firing.
Yeah. They're
okay. Well, Greg's dead, guys. But not as dead. I don't even know if I should say that, but not as famished and as withered away. Our world will wither as Veronica. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard about this. You probably haven't. This is just we know about what goes on Twitter and stuff. But I mean, we've talked about her on the show before. A Miss Veronica has left Twitter. This is new. Miss Celestial Being has left Twitter. The Veronica diet inventor, the woman who invented the pro-metabolic food pyramid. Okay. Nobody had thought of this before. No ideas have been, thought of. Like, nobody else was selling a $47 guide on Gumroad telling you to eat sugar all day and then eat meat at night. Nobody had come up with this before her. This was all her. That's why she charged $47 for it. But you see, the thing about Veronica is there was definitely an eating disorder going on. And, I'm not here to make fun of that. That is a line I draw in the sand, YouTube. But it's true. Take a look at that. But first, we need to take a look at Mr. Cole Robinson, a.k.a. Fatty, a.k.a. Stole Sick Day. Mr. Snake Diet himself had his own exit from the platform, not Twitter, but, YouTube, his own platform this week. But he had a return. You see, the thing that happened with Mr. Snake Diet is that YouTube took him off the platform for a few days. For what reason? Not exactly clear. Cole Robinson himself blames the carnivores. He had other people that were joining in on that. Durian Ryder, who is a guy that, he's vegan. He talks about eating like rice, sugar, that sort of thing, like basically a Kempner style kind of diet where you're just eating carbs pretty much for most of your diet, keeping the fat low. Very similar in style, except for he just doesn't eat meat as opposed to Cole, who does. But basically Durian Ryder was talking about this, thinking, well, that's why YouTube's coming after him, either because, it's the carnivores that are saying something about it, or, just because of the diet that he's encouraging, whatever have you. And then you had Mark Bell as well, who is a power lifter that was talking to Cole prior to this, that had actually been credited by Cole himself, when he came back, as somebody who had the connections to bring him back. So Mark Bell, who has even been talking about reincorporating carbohydrates, which we're going to talk about as well right here, who prior was doing like, or to my knowledge, like low carb, pretty much like, diet, but now is basically doing sugar till dinner kind of thing, where just, fruit, sugar, whatever. I don't know. I guess we could read what he says there in his statement. He's the one doing a lot of whole fruit or what, but basically I think he might've mentioned something like that. But anyway, similar approach, basically, FGF21 stimulating, and he even mentions that. He even mentions the FGF21. He mentions the honey diet by name. So we're actually going to take a look at that statement right now. So let me get that up. It's actually Tharbolic who posted a screenshot from Mark Bell. I thought it was interesting. And I just kind of wanted to pull it up from Twitter because I don't feel like going on Instagram on these streams. It just never seems to want to work right. It's always like kind of like, oh, you have to. Instagram kind of became, I was going to say a certain word, the loading of those pages is just different. I don't know, man. It's just there's a lot more problems on Instagram on it.
Correct.
Hold on. Let's see if we got it. See, this itself has let me try disabling my camera, see if that helps. I'm Canadian Ahmed, as you can see in the corner. Anyway, I'm trying to get it up here. That's what I always say. And it's not working right now. Just this okay, this never happened. Anyway, here's the post. Okay, Mark Smelly Bell, I guess, is his name online, but he's Mark Bell. He's a famous powerlifter, fitness guru with 763,000 followers on Instagram, talking about the honey diet. And so here is his actual post. And Tharbolic also included like Mark Bell, like a photo of him, a lifter here, but this doesn't look as like wide as this, or I'm not talking about the jaw specifically, just like more. It doesn't look like this puffy when I was seeing him on YouTube talking to Cole Robinson. I don't know. That's probably also being helped by the right here. Most important meal of the day, breakfast. What's not shown in the pic is a big old glass of apple juice day and continue to drop. This dang sugar diet seems dumb, but it's working. Remember, though, it's sugar in the absence of fat and even protein. My protein is eaten later in the evening. I'm probably getting 125 to 175 grams is what he meant, but he just said 125 to 175 protein a day, maybe a bit more here or there. So sugar diet, aka honey diet, seems to trigger fibroblast growth factor 21, which is FGF21, which seems to kick the metabolism into high gear. Whatever the case is, it seems like I'm eating often and eating delicious fruits, vegetables, honey, and occasionally candy and cereal. If there's a hard part to this, it's cutting out the fats, especially for me. I'm not used to that, but honestly, that's not even difficult. It's just inconvenient at times. The only fat I get is the small amounts in my lean meats. So that's definitely a smaller amount. I mean, let's say he's eating maybe 1.5 pounds of ground beef. I mean, honestly, if you're eating like that much, I mean, if it were ground beef, as opposed to some other lean meat, I don't know, exactly how much, we're talking here as far as fat content. But I mean, thinking about it, that's maybe like he could be getting 50 grams of fat if it was from the ground beef. But if it's from other meats, it's definitely a lot less than that if they're lean meats. But he says, I've been training every day and often twice a day with great output. Seems to be helping him. Let's see here. Apology even commented, wow, didn't he know he referred by name? But yeah, basically a lot of people talking positive about this, like, similar to Cole when he was kind of just shouting, hey, fatty, and just telling people to do this. Sugar, to get out of stalls today. But the thing here is that what'd you say?
I didn't say anything. I laughed.
Some sound on your end.
Yeah.
Were you yawning or?
I said I laughed.
I didn't hear you say that. You said that did that.
Oh my god, dude.
You never said I laughed. You just said no, you didn't say anything.
No, I did say I laughed.
No, you didn't say. I mean, we can roll the tape back.
Bro, the tape is corrupted. I definitely said that. I just didn't get picked up.
Sure, buddy.
Bruh.
Sure, buddy. We'll do a cool whip again where we play it back on you and show you exactly. But anyway, okay. We're gonna talk a bit about the dark side of this. Maybe taking it too far on the weight loss, because look, at the end of the day, this is similar point that's gonna be pretty obvious. This isn't caloric restriction, but it's like macro intermittent restriction of macros. And I mean, the thing is, like, if it's something that's going to cause you to lose weight, of course, if you push it too far, you're just going to continue to lose weight, right? I mean, just similar to like, people that'll enter a caloric deficit and might just like eating, right? Anyway, am I good here? I don't know. My like restream is kind of slow here. I just want to make sure I sound good.
I mean, you're fine for me.
It's like pretty glitchy for me. You said it's good for you?
I did.
Dude, like I can't even stop the screen share. Like it's like slow as hell. I mean, this is the thing. Like it's not even this today. Like it's other shit. Like I was on a fucking Canva earlier on my own good laptop, and that shit was like fucking tweaking because I was trying to use it on Edge. Pause. But now I'm trying to use this on Google Chrome. I'm trying to use Restream on Google Chrome, and it's just giving me some problems when I try screen sharing. I mean, the capabilities of computers, like what a lot of these, even online browser, like, not even software, it's just like these websites that are host this stuff. Their demand is too large for the average computer, I think, even an above average computer seemingly. So I'm kind of like, upset that, fucking computers just like, I guess you just got to fucking use your own built computer, which I do have one, but I just don't have the soundware hooked up to it. I guess I could eventually just look into moving it. If the other person that uses this is not going to be using it anymore, I guess. But let's see. But anyway, Veronica, basically my point there was that her account is gone. Okay, it is like deleted off the face of Twitter, and I'm going to show it doesn't just lag out on me when I try showing that. But it seems like no matter what, I'm still audible. So I mean, I guess that's just a my end thing that I'm just frustrated about. Which I've just been endlessly frustrated about this today, which is not helping. But anyway, Veronica's Twitter is down, and honestly, I was just gonna say it's funny how I have yet to crash out still over this, but I'm on the verge of crashing out. One more instance like that, and I think I'm just gonna yell my ass off, honestly. But anyway, I was very tempted to while I was setting up for this stream, dude, because fucking my camera. I'm just going to complain about it while we have Veronica's dead Twitter over here. My camera was just not working with Restream for some reason. And that's actually even more frustrating because I had nothing like to think that like, there's something wrong here. My camera is connected to another app or something. There was nothing telling me that, this could be the case because there was no other apps open. It was just Google Chrome. My fucking camera just wouldn't reconnect or connect to the fucking Restream. And it's telling me, oh, it's being used by another app or something, or you need to allow the permissions. I'm like, dude, I have the permissions set on Google to allow it. I have all other apps closed. What do you want from me? I spend 15 minutes with the camera there. Right? I spend 15 minutes with the camera there just tweaking things. And literally, I don't even do anything different. And it just turns on after 15 damn minutes. What the hell's happening? This is crazy. But anyway, I'm really on the verge of blowing. You know what I mean? But anyway, Veronica's Twitter here is gone. She took it down. And what can we assume was leading up to this? Well, we're gonna show a picture here of what Veronica looked like before this, but at the same time, again, it's like I'm not gonna make fun of an actual eating disorder here, right? That leads somebody to be like literally anorexic. I don't think you should because it's YouTube, but so you should probably apologize for that deeply.
Nope, not gonna do that.
Okay, you should probably rescind that you're gonna make fun of it though.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just pointing out the obvious.
Okay, well, you should take it a little lightly because of YouTube. But anyway, if this were just Rumble, I don't know what they allow compared to that. Maybe Rumble still has some policies. You got to go on like BitChute or something. But
I wasn't even gonna make fun of it until you said it, that we probably shouldn't. Now I'm like, well, now I have to. What do you mean?
Well, you gotta watch out what you're doing to our channel here. But basically. And you know what? I'm gonna. I only brought like half a cup of sugar water here with me. This is all I brought because I was like, I had dinner right before this, so I was like, I don't really need much. But dude, honestly, all this near crashing out makes me want to take this. So there you go, some sugar down the hatch, so I can feel better. Lower my potential of raising cortisol. You said what?
I should have ate more before we started.
I'm going to probably need some juice during this. So I'm probably going to have to get up and get that real quick at some point, but not yet. I'll wait a little bit. But anyway, what I was going to say is that Veronica leading up to this looked very, very skinny, very, very skinny. And we're going to take a look at that. But basically what I was saying before was, as you can tell, this isn't something exclusive to this diet, like honey or sugar diet or whatever. It's a weight loss method, but with any weight loss method, like I was saying, people can take it to that extreme. And it doesn't even have to necessarily be from like the same level of caloric restriction, because Veronica was still talking about eating a certain amount of calories and still dropping the weight, but just basically not putting the brakes on this, right? Just continuing her loss on this to the point where she got to this point. So whatever the case may be, she did get to this level. But yeah, this is not exclusive to this on it.
Damn, bro, she looks like a survivor.
Let's see. Okay, there we go. Anyway, even Cole Robinson talks about how, if you're getting too thin, you need to pump the brakes on it. You need to add some starch in. You need to add some more protein in if there's not enough. You need to probably, he doesn't even really say this, but I would even say, add a little fat in, if you need to. Obviously, I think there's a certain amount of fat you need. If you're like cutting, we could talk about anywhere from like, if you're really fat, like go below even like 20 grams if you really need to drop weight, or even like, even if you just want to temporarily shred really quick, something like that. But, if we're talking about a daily regimen of this, like, we're talking 30 to 60 grams, somewhere in that range, probably 50 or 60 total at least. I mean, not at least, but, set that as like a cap, I suppose you could say. I would say at least 30, set it as a cap of like 60, depending on where you're losing an amount of weight and still having energy and your hormones are still good and all that, but, obviously there's just, I'm saying that like towards maybe, in a man's mindset. I don't know about a woman, maybe somewhere around there, but, a woman still needs a good amount of body fat, even compared to a guy, percentage wise. So, I mean, even this is actually, as Mr. Greg said, she's not looking too good. It really doesn't look good. I mean, a woman that is fertile is going to have more on her than this. That's just honest. That's just being real. Like, if we're talking about fertility, I don't think you can impregnate Veronica at this point. That's just a clear statement about what it takes to conceive as a woman and be fertile and have your hormones in order. I don't think you could do that at this weight. I don't think any doctor would say that you could, if we're going to appeal to that, because, that's what YouTube says. Talk to your doctor, whatever, but,
talk to a doctor.
Yeah. Talk to your doctor. He's going to give you that, anyway. So I'll stop that there, but basically, look, I'm just going to ignore that because we can't make fun of doctors on here, and we can't say what they're going to give you, because if we say they're going to give you anything bad, that's a problem. Okay. And if it just happens to be something that's going to make you, a little, fairy princess, as Veronica would put it, I suppose. We can't really talk about that, but, but anyway, this is her saying like fairy princess diet evenings are always, and then it's like a blood emoji, sword, and steak. So I assume it's like meat, right? And so it looks like she's not really eating any carbs whatsoever at her dinner. I don't even know if she includes the milk. Maybe she's just eating meat. I mean, at least you can see like this is like uncropped. I take it that what's being eaten here is like the boyfriend's eating that. It says BF has become an Instagram boyfriend, and now I have all these photos I don't even know what to do with. I mean, I don't know why there's a salad here, honestly, but there's a salad, there's fries with tallow, and then I don't know what that is, mashed potatoes with something on it, like vegetables or bacon, or I can't tell what that is. It's hard to tell. Let me switch to a new tab. Let's zoom in. Yeah, that's probably mashed potatoes and bacon from the look of it. That doesn't really look like anything else.
Yeah.
But anyway, it looks like this is what she's eating. She's eating a steak. Huh?
It's a bit excessive to have mashed potatoes and fries.
Well, I don't know. It might be what the boyfriend is eating. It might be what she's eating. I'm not sure. But if she's just eating the steak and then she's eating sugar all day, of course she's going to be dropping weight like crazy, not holding on to anything, because you don't have like that starch to slow it down a bit, because the sugar is just going to keep burning and it's going to keep your metabolism up, and you're not really holding on to anything. And I don't know how much fat's in the steak, but still, you need an appropriate amount of refeeding after a sort of fasting, which is the sugar fast or the honey diet or whatever. And Veronica didn't do that. She looks very skinny here, as we can tell. And she probably was not feeling the best, even if she thought she looked the best, because she was like very obsessed with being skinny. This is something that she had talked about even prior to this. Like, she was talking about like, skinny girls eat this diet or something like, I don't remember the exact phrase, but it was something along those lines. And she kept talking about being skinny. Oh yeah, there was this tweet you sent me where some guy like some guy just put "I am eating disorder" as Veronica, just tweeting that.
I was trying to find the original tweet. Hello?
Well, you can't even find the original tweet because her Twitter's down.
Yeah, that's a thing I just found out now.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Basically, Veronica was definitely ill, to say the least. But basically, it's a good thing, even according to Pete Pillman, that she took this break because this was somebody that she had over like a petty disagreement, and I think it was even about it might have been about methylene blue. I can't remember now at this point, but she basically blocked him for saying something about it. I think this is, but basically, this individual says Veronica the pettiest thing she's ever done. I refer to inhibition. Ray said it's the most concept in biology. Basically, when you stop burning more energy than you restore, so you take a break. Oh, I need a break.
That was the first thing I thought of too.
I don't know if that's showing. It says I'm sharing it. I don't know if you see it. Oh, there we go. I don't know if it took a second to show. Like, I don't see it on the restream.
I'm not seeing anything.
I can't. You said, yeah, it says it's sharing. I don't know. That's weird. I click share and put it up on there, but it's not like not.
Yeah, that's very strange.
Let's see. Let me try sharing again because I have another one I wanted to share too. Another tweet. Takes a second. I mean, and it seems StreamYard that it takes sometimes. Even I have better connection in between the starting and the sharing because it doesn't really like make it seem like I sort.
Maybe? I don't know. It seems pretty bad right now.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I'm sharing it. Oh, there we go. Hold on. You had said that you were able to. Was all right, but I don't know, man. I'm clicking share on this and it's like,
I mean, I'm able to hear you.
There we go.
But it's really a disparity between when I speak and when you hear it.
But yeah, that was the tweet there. This is one that I was going to show as well from Bollock. Basically talks about the sort of, I don't know why that went away. I clicked share instead and now it just disappeared.
Maybe we were too harsh on StreamYard.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we were. Clearly I'm not going to pay for that. Anyway, so Thermobolic here says eating fruit / honey / sugar in isolation, honey diet / fruit till noon. I do fruit till 3 now, is something you can do periodically. Doesn't have to be every day. That's the beauty of it. Do it on weekends, weekdays, 3 days a week, once a week, whatever works for you. It's flexible. And see, that's the thing too. Veronica definitely was doing this every day from the sound of it. I mean, she never really stopped it, even though she was losing all that weight. There was nothing like pumping the brakes on that just to stop losing the weight again. I mean, it's just she never took moderation into account. She never really, I don't know, man. It's clear she must have seen herself as different than she actually looked because she just kept wanting to lose the weight, obviously. I don't know if her boyfriend told her anything or anything like that, but I mean, hopefully she's doing something on this break to
talk to a.
Okay. Dude, the whole StreamYard setup and like the lag on here and all that's making me crash out. It's honestly like dragging me down a bit, as far as needing some juice, man. I really need some juice.
I'm yeah. I'm like mildly dying a little bit.
Okay. We need to take turns here as far as getting something of sustenance because I don't think this is going to work for 2 hours. Do you want to go first?
Are we sticking to restream or is it just your connection in general?
I mean, I don't know, man. I thought it was all right. I thought it was all right because it seems like the capabilities here we're similar to StreamYard. We did it. I don't think we noticed too much of an issue, right? Or did we? Do I just have an amnesia about this?
I can remember. If anything, maybe it was like slightly worse, but it wasn't anything like this.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the or what.
Well, I guess I'll entertain them.
Yeah, this is actually starting to make me die over here. Yeah, I will get something that I can sip on for this because I need this.
Nice shirt. All right. So what else we got here? So I went ahead and I looked at Veronica's Instagram, and it, from what I recall, that photo that was taken in question was from her Instagram because she deleted her Twitter. But it seems that she has deleted it, which is very interesting. So I wonder if she's, despite not being on Twitter, still aware of the happenings there and got a little self-conscious about how fucking skinny she was. But yeah. The weird thing is too, like in the more modern, recent photos, unless it was like a story post that I missed or whatever, but in her more recent photos or posts or whatever, she looks all right. I don't know if she fixed it or what's going on, but yeah. Unless these are like old posts that she's posting recently or something. I don't know. Well, actually, she does kind of look a little survivor-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. You're back?
I just got the old reliable.
Orange juice. I was talking about how I went on her Instagram and she doesn't look that bad from the posts that she has, but I can't find the post in question either.
Dude, I feel like Veronica right now because this damn orange juice doesn't want to open on me. The joke was my arms were frail. Not really. It's just this damn orange juice, the way they're there's something about it. The damn grip doesn't fucking want to work. But anyway, I got it.
Her legs are kind of like noodles.
All right. Let me take a look at Veronica's Instagram. You want to go get something?
Yep. Be right back.
Okay. Let me take a look at Veronica's Instagram here. It looks like she didn't take that down. That's pretty damn good, if I do say so. I'm a fairy prince. All right. Last post she made, that wasn't a pin post. It seems to be from 2 days ago. Yeah, her arms are pretty thin, but I think this is what Mr. Greg was talking about. And she says she eats 400 grams of pure sugar in isolation until dinner. If she's eating 100 grams, that would be 600 or 1600 calories, sorry. But this is what she looks like right now. I mean, she doesn't look like, yeah, he was talking about her legs don't look like, you know, as thin. That's true. She still looks side. I mean, for sure. Yeah. Let's see. So that's like 1600 calories plus like, I don't know, however much she's eating for dinner, which is maybe a low calorie dinner of maybe 600 to 800 at most, I would say. What is happening with my camera here? Need it to adjust. There's no like focus on this thing. It just decided, hey, let me just unfocus as soon as we come back to this. Maybe if I keep this a little further. Because I had done this, then it'd focus like that. That looks better. But anyway, that would be like 2200 calories if you include 600 on top of that. Which, I don't know. I think she was eating more than that, though, based on what she was saying, at least on her Twitter. I just can't find those posts. but she made it sound like she was eating more. So let's assume the lowest, which it was like 1,600 plus the 600 or 800, 2,200, total in 24. Even if we were assuming the lowest, it's like, I don't know that necessarily that would induce such a I guess like a small frame, but I guess you're hotter on the sugar. So I mean, if you just don't put a stop to it and you just keep not eating starch or whatever, it's going to happen. But
greetings.
It just seems like I can't tell that she was really eating like inadequately.
Hello?
Yeah.
Did you check out her Instagram?
Yeah, I did. I showed it because I was seeing her like saying that she eats like a day until dinner.
I mean, that's more than I eat in a day.
And it was her like here.
Yeah.
You said what?
Yeah, that was the post. I said that's more than I eat in a day.
No, but you were saying.
And then when you asked about the post, I said, yeah, that's what I was talking about. But her legs do kind of look noodly.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't look as bad in the.
What do you eat throughout the day?
Was going around Twitter. A lot of ice cream, actually. Ice cream.
Is ice cream maxing?
Juice, or like sugar, water mainly. And then if I need something to like put break on it, I'll do potatoes and maybe some bacon.
No red meat?
At night.
Okay.
But
pretty descriptive, Mr. Greg.
Day. I mean, first of all, I'm eating. Second of all, it kind of varies depending on.
What'd you get for yourself?
Do you mean during the day? Do you mean like the whole day or what? And it depends on if I'm going out or whatever. But anyway, what I got was a glass of milk and these coconut popsicle bars.
Yeah, really I was asking about the whole day. And more so like a day that you would probably spend at home, just a normal day of eating, not interrupted by eating out or anything like that. And then I was also asking what you got for yourself right now.
Oh, did you not hear that part?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I got a glass of milk and a coconut cream bar popsicle. Pause.
Oh, interesting. See, I brought the arsenal of orange juice just in case I needed it more, but I definitely needed that one glass I just had, dude. I was like suffering, honestly. I don't know how, man. I had a decent dinner, and then like all of a sudden, I guess just all that burning through, just thinking so hard about trying to set up that camera and all that, and just going through the stream, it just really took it out of me.
This lag is kind of killing me, not gonna lie.
Damn. I already paid. I don't know what you want me to do. I already paid $19 to the people at Restream. Should I contact customer support and say you guys suck ass?
Why? Indians already know they suck.
Oh, I just meant like, to get a refund of sorts. Just be like, I don't want this anymore. I want a refund on this. I didn't like it.
Well,
after I already paid for an initial month that we used some of.
It has to be the connection, not the actual service. So I don't know what's going on with your connection today.
Yeah, but why would it be so much worse than StreamYard? Coincidence. So it's just bad today?
I guess. I don't know. You said you're having issues on your other computer,
because we usually do it Thursday. Well, that was more so like the actual interaction between the the user interface and like the graphics, whatever on my computer that I had to fix. Like there was some issue where it didn't want to like run through something on my computer, like the graphics thing. So it was just like really fucking up and slow and all that. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't think it was, well, you know, it's always when I'm turning on the stream every time, I don't know if it's this computer or what, but when I start like opening tabs to like work on stuff, it's also like, it doesn't like agreeing with me right away. Like it takes a bit to like start opening things up correctly.
You're saying you've got a disobedient software.
My computer's a lying piece of shit. No. But anyway, I don't know. I was gonna say it's been, you know, this week I kind of just say from like the honey diet stuff, I was kind of like, how about I just go general PD, you know, more milk, skim milk, orange juice, some cheese, like in a little bit, a few ounces, you know, stuff like that, an egg, you know, fried in coconut oil and stuff and all that. And so, I mean, I don't know, I've been doing some more of that. Still eating like, you know, some meat, just later in the day, usually doing more dairy earlier. Seems to be working pretty well as far.
Yeah, the issue I have when I try doing that honey diet thing is I don't have enough sugar as quickly as I need to replenish myself. So I kind of end up like doing a fast for a good portion of the day unintentionally.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the thing about it too is like you're also just not supplying yourself with anything that's slowing the absorption of it. So as soon as you eat something, you're burning right through it, and then you have nothing. I have nothing. But you know, there are people talking about like how they do like honey fasts and stuff like that. Like I saw a guy saying like, this is how I lost like 35 pounds in a month and a half doing honey every single like day, like all day, every day. This is what the Spartans did, man. It was like some guy, some Mr. African-American gentleman. But basically, you know, I'm thinking like, you know, he's probably doing like a lower calorie honey diet. I don't think he's necessarily like just eating as much as you would think that like somebody would if they realized, you know, how much their body needs when you're not eating any protein or fat. And he's probably just going, yeah, man, you know, I'm gonna just eat this, you know, this tubs of honey and some water all day. That's all I'm gonna do, man. That's enough for me, man. You know?
That would kill me. That would actually kill me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that would destroy me as well. You know, it would dig in me too much. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could do like just some rice on top of it and see if that works, I guess. I don't know. It wouldn't work as well, but I suppose if you have the ratios right, you can like kind of lower the protein ratio that you're even eating there and just not really eat much fat in the rice.
Maybe.
Something like that. I mean, that's what Kempner did, the Walter Kempner thing. I mean, that's basically what they did. It was like rice, fruit, sugar. Just that. Dude, that sounds a little sus what you're doing there. Anyway, we're going to talk about this going on the internet. Hopefully the screen share works this time around. Hopefully it results, because we definitely want to see some visuals still. I need to see more. Okay. I need to see what we're talking about. And so does Mr. Greg over here. What's going on? How are the viewers going to know what's going on? We can't just say, oh, I saw this on Twitter and not even show it. Come on. What is this? What is this? You know, we can't do that. So let's see. Have you something going around where basically there's a guy who got shredded and now, you know, men and women are debating whether or not, you know, he should have gotten shredded?
No.
Dude, you're gonna see this and you're probably gonna read what it was. It's been on the internet for days. Everybody's talking about it on Twitter. This guy right here. Well, this guy, you see, this is what he looks like before and after a shred, right? On the left here, he's just like some bodybuilder guy. this is what women would call a dad bod, except for it's not really a dad bod. It's just a bodybuilder figure. But it's what women think of when they think of dad bod. And then here's this guy, on the right, where he's the, same guy and all, but he just got really shredded. Really lean, not a lot of fat on his body. As you can see, he has very visible abs, and that doesn't really come without doing some serious reduction of your body fat percentage, even to levels that you'd probably, not want to maintain all year. And so, just from a hormonal perspective, even. So, I mean, he was, I would, without even necessarily giving a verdict here, just think that the side on the left, I mean, he, was probably better off in that regard, at least. But anyway, so there was a poll done here by this guy Costello. This guy Ollie Murs is apparently the guy before and after a 12-week gym transformation. Do you think he looks better before or after? Are you male or female? So male before. The guys that said he did look better before were 24%. Well, this is of a total poll, right? Of men and women. So obviously it doesn't mean just like out of the guys, that's how many percent of each. But basically, if we're looking at the actual shares here, right, there is at least a third more guys who are saying that he looks better after, right? So, I mean, that's a better way of looking at it than thinking, like of this from the 24, 43, 27, 7, because these aren't separate polls. They should have probably been two separate polls just so we could see the actual percentages, but you can do the math yourself if you so please. I just don't feel like doing that. But anyway, you can obviously see just by the ratios here that somewhere along the lines of 3/5 of guys view it favorably after. And then women looks more like somewhere along the lines of like a quarter of what views it as good views it as a quarter of what views like the before. There was like probably like 4 times as many that thought the before looked better than the after. So like a quarter of the ones from, not of the ones from before, but like of that same like amount thought he looked better after. So basically like 4-1 if you think about it, better before than after. For the women. So, I mean, they're, at least from the way they're being polled, this is what they're answering, that, 4 times more are saying left of women are saying he looks better on the left. So there's this whole argument going on online where like, people are saying, well, you should be more shredded. It looks better. It's just more visually aesthetically like pleasing and stuff. But then at the same time, you have the argument that like, okay, well, but what about his hormones? And then at the same time, like, what does it take to maintain this? And what I've seen in some arguments are people saying like, well, think about how much he has to like put, and you can see that from a perspective of like, oh, the work that he put into it. But at the same time, it's like people also are saying, well, this is like a woman level of like, keeping yourself as thin as you can, basically. Like, it's that much attentiveness to it, and it can be off-putting, and that can potentially be why women aren't necessarily lying about seeing it this way.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know, Mr. Greg, what do you think about this? Just on, on face value.
I think the answer is somewhere in between both.
How do you mean?
Like, carve off a little more fat from the left photo, but not to that extent as it is in the right photo.
Okay. I suppose, yeah. But I think it, the argument is just coming more from aesthetics versus like, this is an argument of aesthetics versus like actual utility. And I mean, the guy on the left looks like, the people are saying like, oh, he looks like he can actually do, more work. Like, he looks like he can do like actual labor. Like, he doesn't look like he would like die in a famine, or, he doesn't look like he would have to, I literally saw somebody saying like, this guy looks like he has to pull over, instead of changing the tire on the road, he has to pull over and get home as quick as possible because, he needs to go eat his next chicken breast, or else he's going to like lose his gains or whatever. So, I mean, it definitely seems like the attentiveness to it is a problem. I would say like from that perspective, if you have to spend all that time in the gym to get like that, like it seems like that's actually taking away a lot of things from your life that you could be putting towards more productive things, as opposed to, being on the left and like, having the muscle while also just like, being able to live your life.
Yeah. there's a bit of a balancing act thing that's going on here, especially within like dietary and gym bro circles, where at what point does the cost of having the aesthetic override your enjoyment of life as a whole?
Yeah.
And I think there is a level of, yeah, you should look as best as you can. But at the same time, it's like you don't want to do it to a point where it just sucks to exist.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you're gonna go down that route, you probably would be better off just like looking less impressive but being fine. Because think of like ultimately, what the whole like female attraction thing is basically on how uh, effective you are as a protector. So what's happened here is you get like these bodybuilders that are on roids and shit like that, and that's at least to some extent distorted the view of what a healthy man would look like in regards to the female gaze. So I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah. Orange juice.
You hear that?
Huh?
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I hear something going on over there.
I'm playing with this popsicle stick. Pause.
What's going on?
I did say pause.
I didn't say popsicle, and not even. Let me see if
What?
Rumble's going good. Let me see, because I had clicked edit channels and it said it was sending information. Yeah, it says sending data to Rumble. It just says sending data instead of streaming. It's just sending data.
It's so over, dude.
If Rumble's not working, it's not working. This was a problem the first time around, but like I said, what I did was I added it because that's how I usually do it. Go on, and it looks like it actually is working better, but for some reason the thumbnail wasn't on there. I guess I'm just gonna. It looks like we are live on Rumble, so it looks like I just didn't have to touch anything on Rumble. They're preferable. Stream view, so I can talk about the chats here, though. Here we go. Okay, so now we can show some chats over here for Mr. Humvee. Waiting on the chat here. I don't know why it's taking so long to show the chat. There we go. Well, I didn't know you guys were podcasting today. We're podcasting today. Wrong word. Wrong word. You could see what? Oh, you could see it. I couldn't see it. It wasn't showing up.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. What is Mr. Greg's favorite popsicle?
Cocoa cream.
What about the mango ones?
Those are all right. I like a little bit of a dairy in there.
I mean,
if it was like a mango cream, now that
I mean, it's all right.
Yes, I can see that chat.
Okay, Mr. Humvee says, I was watching on Rumble. And yeah, actually, Greg can see the chat in here too. And we can actually display Rumble chats. Can you see this chat? We can just, it's not an option in StreamYard.
Yeah, StreamYard's a little
because
there's in the draw in that.
There's actually a direct connection to Rumble through Restream. You said what?
StreamYard's a bit slow in the draw in that regard.
Dude, my nose is so itchy. Oh my god, it's so itchy.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so we're gonna pull up Repeat Hubbly Bubbly Emporium's comments. That's bro's name on Twitter on this situation on the shredded guy. I actually like that guy's Twitter account. He has some good comments, but on stuff, but and also just takes in general. I do like his Twitter. Kill his name. Let up. Okay. I thought this was a good point that was brought up out of everything, which I need to get on the screen, but as soon as I see it again, I'm just going to start seeing it on our screen, but I think it's popping up now. But he says that, or I think it's a he as well, but it's at Repeat Head Shop. And he's significantly older, more haggard in the after photo from prolonged calorie restriction and overtraining. If he ate a PD diet with lots of saturated fats and gelatin, which he puts gelatin with an E at the end. I don't know if that's a, location kind of thing. His crackhead face would fill out, he says. I mean, that's how he puts it. Add youth and decency to his countenance. And there was another series of tweets over here about that. Let's see if we can see that instant. Yeah, there you go. So Fiend is talking about this. He's saying that the women aren't lying. You got to know how we think. Left pick looks like a guy who will leave the gym early to fix your flat tire. And that's what the tweet I was talking about earlier was. Right pick looks like a guy who will tell you to call roadside assistance because he needs to eat a boiled chicken breast in 7 minutes. And then somebody responded saying, and yet every romance novel marketed to women has the guy on the right on its cover. But then the Repeat Hubbly Bubbly Emporium guy, it's like Rudy Tooty Fruity pancakes, like talking about like, I want to order the fucking fresh and fruity pancakes at IHOP. Jesus. But anyway, this guy says I really haven't had to read this out until now. So I'm sorry, dude. It's not a diss to you, but it's just, your name is like really excessive. But to read on stream, dude, it makes me sound bad. But anyway, he puts in quotes the previous guy's tweet, the Canadian Evangelical. Every romance novel marketed to women has the guy on the right on its cover, in quotes. Here's the thing, and this is his comments, and this is what I've been saying all along. Your face matters. We're social beings. The face matters enormously. Ollie Murs isn't ugly, but he isn't conventionally handsome either. I have it on good authority that most women feel vaguely unsafe and nauseated by the thought of being touched by him. Wow, that's a way to put it. For a guy like him, the only way to compensate is by making music for women, getting shredded publicly. Joie de vivre. How do you say that? Maxing. I take it joy of life maxing or whatever. I don't know, but how do you pronounce it? Joie de vivre.
Joie de vivre, something like that.
Okay, maxing. Anyway, and honestly, unless you've got an attractive face or inherited a diverse and extensive social circle, you should probably do the same. But don't get it twisted. Guys like him are not on the covers of romance novels. They will never be desired in that way. The muscles can't change that. And I mean, honestly, when you look at his face here versus the first one, it makes sense what he's saying because, and like what he even said the first time, it's like when you lose weight through this method of stress, which is, oh my God, dude, Humvee is really going at it on Rumble in those comments. I just realized that. Well, I'm just gonna show this one. That wasn't like the other one. I think you guys just need to stream on Rumble. Do you think that because we're saying like we're not able to say everything we're thinking? Is that it? I would take it so, but how are we supposed to get that base first? We need to get that base in order to just do Rumble only streams, and then then that follows from there that we can say what we want, how we want to say it. You can't just start doing that out of nowhere with no audience. But anyway, this guy, if you look at his face here, right, it's true. I mean, it's like, just doesn't have like the filled out features of youth. He looks very like very thin in the face now, and like, you know, I think even if we were to it really looked better, honestly. You know, it's just, I don't know, he looked more joyous. I don't know, like there's a smile, you know, and now he just looks like, you know, too gone. Honestly, like, yeah, you pay attention to the figure there and everything, but if you're looking just at his face, it's like he looks like he aged visibly in 12 weeks, and he looks like he is even though he has like nice, like, you know, I guess there's vascularity and all that to his skin. I don't know, it's pinker, but he just doesn't look as radiant in his smile. You know, it looks more gone. I could just share this closer up. I mean, look at the way his eyes even look from first to second one. I mean, he just, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. But anyway, that was pretty much it for that part. Unless you had some more comments on that guy.
Not really, no.
Okay. But yeah, anyway, so I mean, if you know, how do you think actually, I guess that's a good question. How do you think women see this then? Do you think it's right that, you know, women are being honest about what they want when they say the guy on the left looks better, or no?
Yes. I don't know. It can't be a bad thing, to be honest.
Okay. So let's see. There was another post you had sent me that I wanted to show here today, and I think you know which one I'm talking about because it's the other one you sent me.
No.
We have a return of a certain woman, of a certain Foyd. Chronically online Foyd. Really tempted to read that Humvee comment. It keeps looking at me in the eyes. Keeps looking into my soul. That word. Yeah, sure. That's the comment I know. But anyway.
Oh, this one. Yeah.
Here happened. Yeah, exactly. So there's this guy, Jack Peach. I don't know who this is. Okay. It says, I help single men settle down and start families. I don't like how you put that, man. But anyway, went from nearly giving up on dating to married with 2 kids. Be that as it may, you know, him saying that he helps men settle down. Here is him saying, I went from single and ready to give up on dating to married, 2 children, life of my dream. It all changed when I learned how to find a wife. Copy me. So, you know, obviously, his vision, you know, I don't know his whole life story. We could read his life story, I suppose. Let's see. Let's read the story. I didn't read it. I just read what RFH had to say about him. But let's give the guy to give you his life story before you judge him like RFH. Okay. So saw my future. I worked in a bar, and every night locals would turn up. 40 years old, divorced, miserable. It was a fate I wanted to avoid at all costs. Whatever I was doing wasn't working. So here he is, you know, showing a picture of, that's just a generic him hanging out with some Indian at a bar. And then I was stuck. I had first dates only to never get a second. Everywhere I went, I saw happy couples. My friends all had girlfriends, but me, I was alone. The worst part was I had no idea what I was doing wrong. I knew I had to change, but what I did next transformed my life. And here he is. Oh, that's okay. Was that actually him right there? Same guy? Taking a picture of just some random couple he sees, or are these his friends, or? Okay. Okay, bud. Anyway. Invested all my savings into 6 months solo travel. I was sick of returning to an empty house after failed dates. I thought it'd be fun. Little did I know the ripple this would cause. I went on adventures. I met cool people, did fun things. I had flings, whirlwind romances, instant dates. I got 2 years of dating experience in 12 weeks, but my goal was deeper. I didn't want flings, and then it happened. One morning in a hostel I saw a cute girl sat with what turned out to be her sister. I talked to her. She smiled at me. I asked them to visit Batu Caves. They agreed. We spent 3 days together. Fast forward 8 years and we're married, have 2 sons, live a life I could have only. Okay, so here he is with his wife. All because I took a risk and did something so different I could find love. But I saw in other men the same problems I once faced. What I did next shocked even me. Using what I learned, I made the dynastic dating program. So yeah, basically he's, talking about his course. And this system has now helped me has now helped at least 38 men find relationships, 16 get engaged, 7 men get married, 2 men have kids. So basically he's trying to sell on, the whole advice here and stuff like that. But point being, the comment is about his life story because he's talking about his marriage, his 2 children, his life of his dreams, and his wife, right? Obviously that was implied in the marriage part of it. But anyway, we're just talking about this, the family. And basically what his story was here, as we saw, was that he was vacationing, he met her, and then he went out with her and then found this all from that. But RFH quote tweets that right over here. Hold on. Oh my God. Hold on. You didn't learn anything, she says. You went to the third world and essentially purchased a woman. Essentially purchased a woman with your American dollars. And yeah, so thoughts?
Yeah, she probably is.
She probably is what?
A thought.
You're talking about who?
RFH.
Okay, fair enough. I was waiting for a zinger there. But anyway. It sounds like a slur, zinger.
Okay.
Anyway, so her quote again was, you didn't learn anything. Okay. So you went to the third world and essentially purchased a woman with your American dollar. So essentially purchased. First of all, her critiques are that he went outside of the West, third world, right? Went outside of the West where the values are different. There's different types of people there. You don't want to just settle for what you have here. You don't want to be in this dating environment, the modern dating environment that we can see as a hellscape on earth. But, obviously people like RFH wish to continue because they're the ones benefiting from it. Obviously the women are. And, RFH, she wishes to have this, despite having lost custody of her kids and such and all that, it never learns, never thinks maybe I'm the bad guy. No, it's the men that suck. They suck. They need to be subjugated by us. It's their turn. Okay. Us women, girl power and stuff, and basically said essentially purchased a woman.
Damn, bro, that lag.
What?
Wasn't she referenced by a, let's see, how do I put this? An arms enthusiast and like a what do you call that shit? Manifesto or whatever.
Yes.
And she quit Twitter, so she's back now.
Yeah, she's back. She's been back for a bit. I think we had established that and looked at some of her posts.
I don't recall that at all.
I don't know, man. I think I at least mentioned it, but I remember looking through her Twitter probably even after that. At least on stream, I think, man. I'm pretty sure I did. You're new to this?
Bro, I'm new.
Well, anyway, so yeah, again, RFH doesn't like dating dynamics outside of the modern world where it's all about, literally just having a roommate, basically. And also she's mad that, not only did this guy find her, she was enticed by his status. He has money, right? And so she says you essentially, not you actually got a mail order bride. This guy met her somewhere when he was doing something. Okay. It wasn't like he literally bought her, but essentially this is how she puts it, because she wants to get away with her basically obfuscating of the truth here and just making it seem worse than it is. Essentially purchased because you have money and your status attracts people. So, I mean, if you're a rich guy in general and a woman's attracted to that, you're basically purchasing her unless she herself has exactly as much money as you. Okay. Purchased a woman with your American dollars is how she puts it.
That's how it happened. She wouldn't lie about that.
I think RFH is a little salty. She doesn't have access to her kids. I think she's a little salty that, guys are happy. She doesn't like when guys are happy at all.
From what I recall of her past tweets, I would definitely jump to that conclusion.
She doesn't like when men are happy. And the thing is, this is part of the growing divide, but obviously the TERFs have been here for a little bit and they're obviously sticking to one side and making it worse by encouraging certain thoughts about the other sex that, are definitely the logical conclusion of what they believe, but haven't been expressed as openly until this time in which, these thoughts are a lot more allowable, openly without as much, at least from the people that aren't in the red pill or masculine space or whatever have you. It's just pretty obvious that, this is sort of what you would have been thinking the whole time if you held this ballistum. You just probably didn't make that as a parent. It's just about, making things right. It's just about being equal. It's just about all this and that. Obviously, those have implications to them as well, like having the exact same social status, social standing, fitting the exact same way into the formula of society, with no difference in what roles you would necessarily take on. Obviously, you're going to get to this conclusion, not only that, it's wrong to think this way, the way the guy did that, found his wife in another country and married her and whatever have you, but just also, to be part of the sex that has been the, side that, they view as, historically the oppressors, and that's a pretty common amongst we could even say in terms of race, how it's been when it's called out, critical race theory and all that, as they put it, where basically, there's been a lot of problems with white people. So it's kind of like the same thing with men.
Real as fuck.
But anyway, you got any thoughts on this, Craig?
Yes. She's not attractive.
Okay.
So her opinion is invalid.
Okay. That makes sense.
Doesn't it?
So Mr. Kanye has dropped an album, but he hasn't dropped World War III. He hasn't dropped the album, or it's called Cuck now. He hasn't dropped the album that we're truly waiting on, because he was in that album talking about certain things like his cousin and Dave Bluntz was writing all of this, and they were excited to put it out, but it didn't come out on the Friday that he promised. Typical Kanye. But what did come out was an album from a while back, which Mr. Greg's not going to care as much about because it's not a meme, but it was a grail in the Kanye discography. Donda 2, because there was already Donda 1, but it released on a separate profile under the name of Donda. So I was confused as to how this was even Kanye dropping it, but apparently that's what he wanted to do. And the songs aren't even completely finished, but they say they mixed it and all that. There is still some unfinished aspects of it, but or sounding at least. I mean, especially on the song Pablo, where Kanye recorded this drunk. But anyway, the thing about this is this album, interestingly enough, we're going to get Greg's attention. Neon, the streamer?
That I do.
Okay, so Neon and Sneeko were apparently like meeting up with Kanye, and he was like doing streaming stuff with them and all that, and they were helping put this album together with him, like actually come up with which tracks go with where and all that, like stuff like that. I don't even know in format that it was already in, but apparently they were coming up with their own track list, and I guess it didn't all get added, but apparently they were in the works with Kanye. And Kanye's even been like streaming more. Kanye's getting more into, as we could see, like the Twitch stuff where he was cooking up I'm in love with the nitrous. But on top of that, streaming, just in like doing more stuff like that, just I saw him on an outdoor stream talking about this album release, Donda 2. And it was literally like a video from the other day, and somebody was telling him, it's like, we should drop Donda 2. And he's like, how are we going to do that? When can we do that? Like Kanye himself was asking when he could drop his own album. I don't know how this is, something he's gotten to at this point. Bro's fried. No, boy, don't play with me. I'm fried. Kanye is cooked. He's asking if he can drop his own music at this point. Correct. How are we going to do that? I mean, Kanye, we're never seeing, I think, a full-fleshed tape from this man. I mean, I don't know about again, but just for a good amount of time, if this is the case. Like, bro doesn't even know how to drop his own music anymore, unfortunately.
Correct. But it's got to be the nitrous, bro.
You think so?
I mean, it's at least a factor.
I mean, that's fair. Dude, why is my phone telling me to, like, I hate when it tells you, like, we have a new update ready for you, and it tries to get me to log in to, like, have it happen when, like, I'm trying to use it for something else to pull up something. Same thing with PCs, like they're like, hey man, we have an update for you. You could be doing something fucking important. We have an update for you.
Could not be me.
For real.
On my way.
I'm on my way. I can't say the rest of that.
Yeah, you really can't. We could on Rumble, though.
I'm a fairy.
Fairy princess diet?
I'm a fairy princess. I'm on my way.
I'm losing weight.
Yeah. Anyway, you got anything going on, Mr. What do you have for us tonight?
What do you mean? I sent the tweets.
The 2 tweets we looked at, like out of like other stuff we were looking at too. It's like, oh yeah, no, I mean, I already sent you that. I don't have anything else going on in my life or anything interesting. No stories.
Not really. Oh! Kind of like everything's kind of been on like
damn,
like autopilot. Like nothing really new has been happening.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Let's see. Let's think about this. Think about this. So, you seen what's going on in Canada?
Their election of brown person versus brown person versus brown person.
Indian versus Indian versus Indian.
That's great. That's absolutely fantastic. I can't wait till we get to that point.
Oh, and I wish we were there now. We are going to give Americans $1,000 a month for curry. Okay, Americans, I'm not sure why you don't wash your... Have you seen this guy that was like washing his clothes in Times Square, like on the street? Like he was like, it was somewhere in New York or so. It looked like Times Square. He was like pretty much like hand washing his clothes in a bin. I just don't know where this video is, but I saw it on Instagram. And some guy's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, oh, this is how I do it where I come from. Most of the world still washes their clothes with their hands. It's like, but why are you doing it in the middle of a street, dog?
Why are you doing it in New York? Why you don't have
it's a great question
anymore?
I don't know if it was New York or if it was it probably was, unless it was like some like I'm just misremembering and it was some like European city or something, like big city there. It could have been London for all we know, right? But
no, it was New York, I knew.
Okay. I just couldn't remember 100%. I remember it looking like Times Square, and that's probably it actually makes more sense because I doubt somebody in the UK would be calling them out. That's just kind of like most of them are of that persuasion anyway, so they just kind of be like, oh yeah, buddy, you keep doing that. That's normal. That's normal where I come from. We have more people doing it where I come from. We have them making food and all that. Instead now it's like you're in New York. It's actually weirder. Even amongst all the weird things you see in New York, you see Spider-Man with Tim's and all that and a Yankee cap. No, it's the Indian guy washing his stuff in a bin that still drags attention because of how fucking strange it is, dude. That's got to tell you something. Out of every weird fucking thing you see in Times Square, this is still something dragging attention. Grabbing attention.
Yeah, that made more sense.
Drawing, I don't know. Drawing attention.
Ripping attention.
Yeah, look at you. But the thing is I mean, like, what incentivizes somebody to do that? I guess like just getting some notoriety online or something, but even so, maybe trying to prove some sort of cultural point. But how are you proving a point when you're like, oh, most of the world still does this? Does that mean you should be doing it there too? Is it trying to call out that the world doesn't have access to washing machines? Or are you trying to say that New Yorkers should be washing their clothes like that? That's the part that confuses me.
I guess you could take it from the point of view of criticism of the modern culture of the West. But why would you do that? It's just so much easier to use a washing machine.
That's what I was taking it partially as. But for what? For doing what? For using a washing machine? For having modern...
It's just like, because I saw that video too. He was like hitting the shit out of that one piece of clothing, which can't.
Yeah, he was like smacking the wet like shirt all over the ground too.
It's like really tedious if you have to do that with every single article of clothing you've got.
Yeah, I mean, like, not only that, but it's just what would you even like change with that? What is it? The water usage or something you have a problem with? Like, I don't understand. What is being changed if people switch to that? Are you trying to like make people devolve? Like, I don't understand. Like, is that just an intentional thing to make people devolve?
I mean, he's Indian, so.
Yeah. His name would be Ted Kaczynski.
Dude.
Instead of Kaczynski, Kaczynski.
Past year or two, maybe even 3. They've been getting so much heat, that part of the world. And I'm not going to lie.
The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been severe for mankind.
It's kind of valid.
No, but now it's instead of like fucking, I don't even know a specific TED quote, but I'm thinking here. Instead of being pissed off that people are doing these menial tasks and jobs and stuff, I'm just mad that they are not slapping their shirt against the ground. Where is the man cutting his meat with his toenail? Where is that?
It's gnarly.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm thinking we need to take a look at the states by population with the least of a certain thing.
Common law marriage?
Yeah. Exactly.
I agree. It's an important issue.
But also Indians.
Okay.
I wonder actually, like, where do the Indians populate the most other than like New York? Yeah.
Chicago would be my next bet.
I'll read them out. Hold on.
New Jersey, by far.
Okay, it looks like this ones are California, Texas. I didn't expect that. New Jersey, New York, and Illinois. Let's see. I'm trying to get a map here. Why is it telling me Native Americans? That's not what I was asking about.
Yeah, I'm sure they use Washington.
I mean, New York City is just the New York City population is just the biggest. Let's see. Yeah, they're mixing up. I can see now why it's a problem to not differentiate between Indians and Native Americans because now I'm trying to look up information on Indians, and it keeps showing me shit about Native Indians too. It's like making it hard to look up like the thing I'm trying to learn about. Maybe I could look up just South Asian Indian. That'd probably help.
Or just South Asian.
Well, I was trying to look up specifically Indian, but sure. I'm sure there's still like most of the population here anyway, because it's still California, New York, New Jersey, Texas, Illinois. I saw a post. I'm sure you saw this too. India has enough people to where they could send 2 million people to each country on the planet and still have 1 billion people left over.
Dude, who let them breathe that much?
I can breathe. I can breathe.
Keep in mind, too, a good chunk of them, I don't even know I don't know what proportion of it is, but a good chunk of them will just take actions that prefer having a male child as opposed to a female child. I'm not going to specify what those actions are, but those actions would impact the population. And yet they still have that many people.
Fair enough. Well, anyway, Greg, I think you and I have come to the conclusion that Indian people. I can't finish that thought. My lawyer advised me not to. Anyway,
please don't.
It looks like we've wrapped up what we need to talk about here tonight. First of all, fairy princess, honey, sugar diet, however you call it, use it responsibly. It's effective. Use it responsibly. For many people, it's effective. Use it responsibly. Okay, especially Veronica. Use it responsibly. Anyway, men and women, they don't agree on a lot. RFH is a retard. And Indians, I still have to leave that. Mr. Greg, do you have any closing thoughts?
Retarded fairy
what?
hoe.
Retarded fairy hoe.
RFH.
Well, RFH, I don't know if she, well, actually, technically she is like still into peat and sugar and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. She is kind of a retarded fairy hoe.
Correct.
Any final words?
Yes.
Okay.
Retarded fairy hoe.
That's how I hate. This has been
the podcast.
The podcast.
Podcast ever.
The podcast ever.